Bodhi in the Brain, Part 17. How you doing, everyone? This is Morgan O. Smith here. Now, this segment here is going to be probably much more difficult to understand because this is based on math, and I know a lot of people are math phobic for whatever reason. I don't understand because math is freaking beautiful, but whatever. People have their opinions on math, but you can't do anything without math. Everything you do, everything you see, everything that you're attracted to, or everything that that you repel. Absolutely, everything you do, everything in existence is based on math, whether you know it or not. Without math, there is no reality. Without math, there is no existence. Everything is created by math, whether you see it or not. Even when you cross the street, you're using math to determine when to cross so you don't get hit by a vehicle. If you're jaywalking, of course. Everything is done by math. Art, it's all math. Whether if you're intuitive or not, your intuition is based on math. Your feelings, it's all based on math. Everything, and I can go on for days and how that works, but I won't. But everything you do and everything that exists is all based on math. Everything, time and space, based on math. All of it is math. And if you understand the basics of that, you can use it to your advantage, especially when it comes to brainwave entrainment, such as Yinnergy. So as you all know, that Yinnergy is my brainwave entrainment program, which I created years ago, and it's been used by people around the world now. But we're taking it to the next step. So for some of you already know that I have a book coming out, which is called Bodhi in the Brain, which is based on the Yinnergy Meditation, which was created by myself, by yours truly. But there's the thing that makes Yinnergy so effective, of course, as I mentioned before, is the lower carrier frequencies. By lowering the carrier frequencies, it makes the binaural beats and the monaural beats stronger. And this is a very, very important thing because by making it stronger, you create the equivalent of a longer traditional meditation. If you're looking for the equivalent of a traditional meditation, so lowering the carrier frequency would be the equivalent of a longer meditation. So if you're doing an hour of Yinnergy, an hour of Yinnergy would probably be the equivalent of around 8-9 hours of traditional meditation, all within 1 hour, and that's just from lowering the carrier frequency. But to know how to do that, you have to know the math behind it. So that's one thing, but there's another thing that makes this thing effective is resonance. So by understanding the math behind this whole thing, which is based on Vortex Based Mathematics, which is a theorem created by mathematician Marko Rodin. He's the creator of this mathematics. And so what I did was I learned how to use this mathematics, and I learned how to incorporate that within making binaural beats. So this makes binaural beats much more different than the current binaural beats that are out there right now. Even the more popular ones, this takes us to a whole different level because this mathematics is based around the magic number 9. And if you understand 9 is a perfect number. So all numbers from 1 to 9, because after 9 you get 10, but 10 is just an amplified version of number 1, because 1 plus 0 gives you 1. So 9, I should say, would be the highest number. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Sorry, I'm messing up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 being the highest number. And then what happens is the cycle repeats, but at a higher stage. So the second cycle now begins with the number 10. 1 plus 0, which gives you 1. And then, after 10 is 11, but 1 plus 1 will give you 2. And after 11 is 12, because 1 plus 2 gives you 3. And this keeps going on until you hit 18. And then the cycle repeats again until you hit 27. And that cycle repeats again until you hit 36, and then 45 and 54, and so on and so on and so on. So this cycle always continues, but when the cycle begins, it begins at a higher stage, at a higher cycle, and other things change within that, which I won't get into now because this is going to take me into a deep rabbit hole of explaining this whole mathematics. So basically, vortex-based mathematics, if you're interested in that, look up Marko Rodin, who is a mathematician who created this math. So again, what I did was I learned this math. It took me a few years to learn how to do this math, and then I incorporated this into making binaural beats based on this math, so that Everything that I create has the essence of number 9 within it. So in the way how I make them, so just say just give you some basic information for those who don't know what a binaural beat is. A binaural beat is a combination of two tones. So if you have a tone playing in one ear and another tone playing in the other ear, but I should also explain that even though it's a combination of two tones, one of the tones is slightly different from the other tone. So one tone is higher than the other. So just say if I had a tone, at least based on Vortex Based Mathematics, if I had a tone of, I don't know, 217.7 hertz in the left ear, then I would probably have 211 hertz playing in the right ear, right? And then, and so when you play these two tones together, your brain, in the center of your brain, the nucleus overly, will hear the difference of these two tones. And the difference of the two tones, that part of the brain will entrain to that tone. So again, if I play 217.7 hertz in one ear, in the left ear, and 211 hertz in the other ear, the center of my brain will resonate, not resonate, but it will entrain to a frequency of 6.7 hertz. So that's how that kind of works. And then there's other tones. So if, but if I add those numbers up together, just basic addition, it will give me the number 8 if I crunch it down to a single digit number. And in the right ear, if I crunch down the numbers to 111 down to a single frequency, it would give me the number 4. So if I crunch these numbers down to a single digit number, it will give me 4. So the idea is you have to make sure that whatever numbers that you're using, that when you crunch these numbers down, they add up to specific numbers. So in my case, because I'm using Vortex-based mathematics, I have to have in the left ear, you would have to have numbers that correspond to 8, 7, 5, 1, 2, and 4. And in the right ear, you would have numbers. The essence of these numbers would be 4, 2, 1, 5, 7, and 8. And so you add these numbers up all together and crunch it down to a single digit number, you always get 9. So you just have to make sure that your numbers always, the essence of those numbers, when you crunch them down to a single digit number, they add up to 9. If it's 10, 11, or any other number, or sorry, it can't be 10, but if it's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1, that won't do. It has to add up to the number 9. But 9 is not just 9. 9 comes in many forms. 18 is 9. 27 is 9. 36 is 9. 45 is 9. 54 is 9. 63 is 9. 72 is 9. 81 is 9. 90 is 9. 108 is 9. All these numbers, when you crunch them down to a single digit number, always comes up to 9. Why do we use 9? Because 9 is the essence of the entire universe. So if you looked at the universe from a mathematical standpoint, the essence of that would be identical to a mathematical aspect of that, which would be 9. And 9 in many religions and different philosophies represents God, or Brahman, or Jehovah, or Allah. And the list goes on with all the different names that we have for God. But God isn't just God. God is everything. So 9 represents everything. So when you meditate with something like Yinnergy, you're meditating to the number 9, which is supposed to be the equivalent of everything that's happening in the universe. But that's more mystical, and it doesn't make sense to many people logically, especially for in the field of physics and in the field of physics and mathematics and things of that sort. But from a mystical standpoint, this is what these numbers represent. So that's how important 9 is. And if you looked at any math trick, every math trick that works out as a math trick is because the property is number 9. That's something that a lot of people don't know. So if you ever been fooled by a math trick, the reason why it works is because the essence of that particular trick that's being done on you, number 9 is the property, is the number 1 property of that. But I can't even explain that right now. But just to give you a tidbit on how that works, it's all based on 9. So this is how your computers work. Your computers work by using binary codes and things of that sort. So binary codes is also based on this same system. The transformers used in computers based on the same system. Electrical coils, same system. Mitosis, which is a single cell that splits into two, same system. So just to go a little further with this and how Yinnergy kind of works is, as I said, everything's based on number 9, but everything's based on a doubling system. So if you have 1, everybody knows the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we stop at 9. So if you have 1, right, just say that 1 is a cell, and that cell, and this is how you've been created from before, after conception. So you started off as a single cell, that single cell split into 2, and then those 2 cells splits off, and those other cells splits off. So what happens is you have 1 cell, the 1 cell splits into 2 cells, those 2 cells splits into 4 cells, and then into 8 cells, and into 16, and so on. If you take those numbers and you crunch it down to a single digit number, you get the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. And mathematically, if you took any number, if you took that same number and divided it by 2, it will always repeat that pattern into infinity. But you can also go the other way. So you can take the number 1 and you can double it. So double 1 is 2, double 2 is 4, double 4 is 18, double 18 is sorry, I made a mistake there. Double 1 is 2, double 2 is 4, double 4 is 8, double 8 is 16, double 16 is 32, and it goes on into infinity. If you take those numbers again, you crunch them to single digit numbers, it will always be 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 into infinity. And so infinity, the best way to say infinity, or the easiest way to say infinity, is just call it number 9, because number 9 represents infinity. It represents eternity and things of that sort. Because 9 itself is just an infinite number. So even though you can count up to 9, and then after 9 comes 10, but if you crunch those numbers down to a single digit number, you get the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 into infinity. So that's what 9 represents. So Yinnergy is based on that whole, the whole idea of what I'm talking about, which is called Vortex Based Mathematics. But it's also called quantum neurology. So anyone who's into, sorry, not neurology, numerology. So anyone who's into numerology, Vortex Based Mathematics can also be called quantum numerology. So that's how that kind of all works. So all this stuff is within Yinnergy. So Yinnergy is specifically planned out by using specific numbers. So you have certain numbers playing as a tone in one ear, and another set of tones that equate to certain specific numbers into the other ear. And so your brain's in training to a certain frequency that is based on the number 9, so that your brain can entrain and resonate to the best, to the closest to what we would call perfection, because number 9 also represents perfection. So number 9 represents perfection. It represents God. It represents the universe. It represents eternity. It represents infinity. It represents a whole bunch of other things. It represents spirit and all that, at least from a mystical standpoint. And of course, the numbers that makes up number 9, because if you've heard me mention 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, I didn't mention 3 and 6, because certain numbers add up to 3, and certain numbers of those numbers that I mentioned adds up to 6, and 3 and 6 gives you 9. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 represents everything that's happening in the physical realm. 3 and 6, it represents the 4th dimension, and 9 represents the omni 4th dimension. And omni 4th dimension is eternity, infinity, spirit, God, Brahman, Pra-Brahman, Allah, Jehovah, and the list goes on with all the different names that you can find out there. And even the void, Anatta, Sunyata, and the list goes on with all the different names that you can come up for, if you want to call that the Most High, right? But the Most High is you. So I'll leave it at that. Again, I'll say that the Most High is you, right? You are the physical representation of the Most High, and having the experience that you're not. But the whole time you are, You just don't remember that you're doing it until you realize what you actually are. So mathematically, you realize that you're the number 9. And that number 9 represents everything I just mentioned. So that's it for today, everyone. That's Vortex Based Mathematics. So if that's something you're interested in, you can always look up Marko Rodin, and he's the mathematician for Vortex Based Mathematics. And that's how this is what I use to create Yinnergy. Take care, everyone. Oh, but don't forget, of course, in the near future, my upcoming book, Bodhi and the Brain, will be coming out. And this talks all about Yinnergy, how Yinnergy was created, what it's all about, what it does, and what it's been doing for other people, and the list goes on. This book is jam-packed with a whole bunch of with meaty material that is meaningful, and of course it's informative, and the list goes on of all the different things. And for those who are using the program, many people don't know what's in it and don't know its potential. So this book that I put together is there to explain all that. So that's it for this week. I'll be back hopefully next week with another segment of Bodhi and the Brain. Take care, everyone. Morgan O. Smith. Peace.